400 miles. That's the range that most Americans feel like they need to get out of their electric vehicle. Did you know that according to AAA, that the average American's daily commute is only 31 miles? And that most folks only take 1, maybe 2 longer road trips in a year? Let's break down the psychology behind range anxiety, and let's just break it apart. And let's get rid of that range anxiety altogether. Hey y'all, this is Everyday Driven, where we take real life and real driving and we mash the two together and make sure that everything goes hand in hand. So like I said, let's talk range anxiety. My normal daily commute is 50 miles round trip. That works out to 250 miles, give or take, in a week. Because of that, I'll fully admit, when I bought my first EV, the OG Audi e-tron, range anxiety felt like a real thing. I wasn't sure, but is this gonna work? How's charging gonna work out? If I get myself into a spot, am I gonna be able to find a charger that could get me topped back off and make sure I can get to my destination? That was legit. I totally get the feeling. And the range on that vehicle is not that great from the factory. I think 100% charge in that one would get maybe 230 miles on a good week. But technology has evolved since then. And that was a couple of years ago. I mean, just the EVs that I've had since then, things have absolutely improved. The Wagoneer S that I currently drive, at 100% and being economical with driving, I could get easily 310, maybe 320 miles, which is plenty for my normal week-to-week commute of 250 miles. Not a problem. I charge every third day, and charging at home is such a convenience. There are folks that think that they need a vehicle that can charge quickly because that's part of the range anxiety equation, because we're trained from an early age when we start driving, because of internal combustion engine vehicles, that when you run out of your fuel source, there's a gas station. 5 minutes later, you're topped off and you're ready to go for another 400 miles. Part of me wonders if that 400-mile figure is just nice because it easily breaks up into the quadrants of a fuel gauge, and you look at a fuel gauge in quarters. I'm sure there's some actual truth behind that. That's trained us from the top of the fuel gauge to the bottom of the fuel gauge to expect to be able to go 400 miles. So let's break that down on what actuality and what real everyday life is for the average American. Like I said, the average person goes 31 miles round trip a day on a commute. If you look at all the available EVs on the market today, which go from small commuter vehicles like, your BMW i3 and Chevy Bolt, whichever iteration of that one you're looking at, you're looking at, 100, 150 miles of range, all the way up to like your Chevy Silverado EV / GMC Sierra EV trucks that can get over 500 miles of range. So the average in there is 300 miles. And to look at the actual median range of all electric vehicles that are offered on the market, the median value is 270 miles of range. So you're right there in that 270 to 300 mile range if you're looking at an EV. And that's perfect, because if your average commute is 31 miles round trip, that's at least 8 of those trips that you can make on a charge. That's more than a week's worth of going to work and doing your errand running on the weekend and just handling your everyday life. So range anxiety really shouldn't be a thing in that situation, because if you're doing your normal day-to-day commute, you're parking your vehicle at your residence, whether that's a single-family detached home with a garage or an apartment complex or something like that. Chances are, if you're looking at an EV, you have an opportunity to charge your vehicle at your residence. The next question then becomes, well, okay, but, you know, what if I don't have enough time to charge it? Okay, so then look at, why are you charging from near empty? If you have the ability to charge at your residence, then charge every day. It's such an amazing feeling to walk out and have my vehicle charged up as much or more than I need every single day. Not going to a gas station, not making that extra side trip to make sure that I have enough fuel to get me to where I need to go the next day. I park my car in my garage, plug it in, and by the time I get up the next morning, it's ready to go. And even when I wait until I'm down to, say, 25, 30%, if I plug it in the evening, it's ready to go by 5:30 a.m. the next morning when I'm getting up for work. And that's using a level 2 charger that's not even maxed out at 50 amps at home. I think I have mine dialed down to 40 amps because of the breaker that I have that's serving that circuit. So I'm getting between 9 and 10 kilowatts out of my charger, and I'm getting plenty of charge within 5 to 6 hours. Now, road trips are different, and I get that, but you're not taking constant road trips. The average American takes 1, maybe 2 road trips a year, and those average between 500 and 1,000 miles. And new charging infrastructure is popping up all over the country constantly. Even though the government subsidies are, going away, we've already set the ship in motion, and it's not something that just turns off. Companies like Walmart and Wawa are continuing to show support of, fast vehicle charging infrastructure, level 3 plus. Walmart's even stepped in and kind of stepped away from their partnership with Electrify America, and they're doing their own brand of fast charging. Wawa is kind of stepping out from their deal with Tesla, and they're bringing in Iona, who supports both CCS and NACS, and offers such a great range of flexibility. And honestly, Iona's infrastructure is fantastic. You can just pay at the charger. You don't need to fiddle around with an app. I've only used their stuff once, and I was immediately blown away. Granted, it was brand new. This station had just opened within the last 3 weeks, and I'm not, a paid advertiser or any kind with them. Just my experience was fantastic. It was easy to use. It was straightforward, and it just worked great. Plus, on top of that, their stuff is kind of retro themed, and I really do like that. I'm a sucker for mid-century modern, and they really nailed it on that. But I digress. If you're getting into an EV, yes, you do have to kind of learn to plan a little bit. You're not able to wing it so much as you can with an internal combustion engine vehicle, and I know that's not everybody's thing. But everybody uses GPS if they're going on a trip anymore, right? And your EV is going to be pre-programmed to tell you where to stop. And it's going to be in places you may not have realized have fast charging. Most people don't go around the backside of a Wawa looking for a gas pump. They pull into the front, they fuel up, and they leave. The electric vehicle chargers are just on the other side of the building. They're not really hidden. They're just in a spot you're not used to going. And that should really help ease range anxiety. They are in common places. New electric vehicles are being produced, manufactured with the NACS charger. And there are more charging stations that are having those as an offering. So if you really break down the numbers like we have today, and you think about your normal commute, and you think about the fact that you're going to be doing a majority of your charging at your residence, at home, there's really nothing to worry about. It's just logical. So hopefully this helps ease your mind if you're thinking about an EV. Again, just sharing my real life story and how my everyday with an EV works out. Please like and subscribe. And remember, be logical. Think about the actual numbers. It makes sense. So until next time, I'll catch you later.